Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we read diving into one of the most foundational and beautiful stories ever told, the birth of Jesus. It's recorded in the second chapter of Luke. It's a story many of us have heard, but when we truly slow down and look at the details, we find an incredible message about God's love. It all begins with a decree from Caesar Augustus. A census was ordered, requiring everyone in the Roman world to return to their ancestral town to be registered. This wasn't just a random historical event. It was the very mechanism God used to set his plan in motion. So Joseph, a descendant of King David, had to travel from Nazareth in Galilee all the way to Bethlehem in Judea. And he wasn't alone. He went with Mary, his betrothed, who was expecting a child. Can you imagine that journey? Long, dusty roads, likely on foot or by donkey, and Mary being very close to giving birth. It must have been incredibly difficult. When they finally arrived in Bethlehem, the town was overflowing with people who had come for the same reason. The Bible tells us something very simple but profound. There was no guest room available for them. Not that there was no room at all, but the proper, comfortable guest rooms were all taken. So, in this moment of need, the only place they could find was a humble stable, a place meant for animals, and it was there, surrounded by the smell of hay and the quiet sounds of livestock, that Mary gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger, a feeding trough for animals. Pause and think about that. The Savior of the world, the King of Kings, wasn't born in a palace with fanfare and royal attendants. He entered our world in the most humble, lowly circumstances imaginable. This wasn't an accident. This was a deliberate act of love. God's immense love for humanity humbled itself to the lowest possible point, choosing to identify with the poor, the overlooked, and the marginalized from his very first breath. This story shows us that God's power isn't always displayed in dramatic, flashy ways. Often, it's found in quiet, humble moments. The birth of Jesus in a manger reveals a God who is willing to come down to our level. We meet us where we are, in our own messy, imperfect lives. His love doesn't demand that we climb up to him. It's a love that humbly comes down to us. Thanks so much for watching today. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next video.